Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dan Ziegler, the voice of WBU Athletics, and I'm meeting as usual with Coach Marcos Hinojos. Marcos, welcome again. And these pre-game interviews are so much more fun when we had a week like we did last week. What an outstanding performance on all three areas of the game.
Yeah, really exciting you're right, everything is better after a win.
Yeah, yeah. Let's first talk about, let's talk about awards that were given out this week. We are affiliated with two different conferences. The National Christian Collegiate Athletic Conference, NCAA, and the Sooner Athletic Conference, the SAC. Both of those conferences award players of the week on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. I don't know if NCCAA does a special teams award or not. Do they?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Yes.
I know SAC does. So consider all of the football players that played last Saturday representing all of the schools in both of those conferences. And both of those conferences awarded game balls or awards to Wayland players.
Yes, sir.
That's just almost unthinkable that would happen, even in one conference, much less two.
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about the NCCAA. On offense, they named Kimadre Horace their offensive player of the week. And they named Tyrone Morgan as their defensive player of the week, a freshman, by the way. And then the Sooner Athletic Conference awarded Damon Ford the offensive player of the week. It was kind of a toss-up. Kimadre had 3 touchdowns. Damon had piled up a bunch of yards. So I'm sure they had a hard time deciding between those two. And then Tyrone Morgan, the freshman, also got a defensive player of the week in the Sooner Athletic Conference. Outstanding. And it's about time we got some recognition.
Yeah, that goes along with the winning. You know, I've been here where when we regularly got those from certain individuals, and it's nice again to see that. What I can tell you is that it's such a blessing to have 2 running backs that are as committed to what they're trying to accomplish, both as an individual and a part of the offense, and that in the same week, both conferences recognize both players, both running backs, and they will be the first to tell you that the credit goes to the offensive line. And really, when you're having a quarterback that's having the type of year that he is, and 2 running backs that are having the type of the year that they are, I mean, I think they're pretty accurate. The offensive line changes in coaching and in position movements that we've made with certain individuals, and just the coaching and the acceptance of coaching has brought all of that out. And I'm glad that 2 guys like Damon and Kimadre are getting to benefit from those awards. We say this all the time to our kids, and they're beginning to believe it, that it's not about me and it's not about them. It's not about the stats or the awards that somebody's going to get, and they're going to get some, and we believe that. But it's about what we can accomplish together if we'll just die to self. And the fact that they came on in our YouTube video or show, and I heard them say the credit goes to the offensive line, tells me that that kind of stuff is sinking in, and that they're not just stuck on this one game, that their plans is to take this team further along than a lot of people thought we were going to be. So.
Absolutely. And looking at the last 3 games, in the North American game, we rushed for 229 yards and passed for 122. In the Sul Ross game, 219 yards rushing, 220 yards passing. Balance. In the Louisiana Christian game, 273 yards rushing, 276 yards passing. Balance. And if we can keep that kind of balance going every week, I am giddy. I'm just telling you, I'm giddy about the prospects of us being in the playoffs at the end of the season with the Sooner Athletic Conference. I'm just saying that for the record going into our 5th game of the season.
Well, I appreciate that a bunch. I enjoyed listening to that. I will tell you that I'm narrowly focused,
Sure.
and that's something that comes as a result of being narrowly focused, and that's where we're at right now. I alluded to the coaching staff changes that we made last year for this season, and I probably should now tell you more about that.
Okay.
We hired an offensive coordinator who is an experienced high school head coach. He and I have been across the field from each other when I was at the high school level, and he and are fond of each other. We are competitive, and his name is Brian Wood, and we're really glad that he took the job offer. And the balance that you see is all about him and his staff coming in every Sunday, breaking down our opponent, and finding where and what they can run to accomplish that balance. The other position move that I made is Marcos Hinojos Jr. was a defensive line coach, was a defensive coordinator for me, and now he is our offensive line coach, and has really done a good job with that, transforming that offensive line. And then I hired Casey Buck, who is a familiar name at Wayland, is an all-conference middle linebacker, widely recognized across the conference as a competitor. But I hired him to be our running backs coach. And so the changes that you are seeing are a product of the quality of men that they are and the detail-oriented coaching staff that they are. And our receivers coach is Nick Quintero, which is also a familiar name. He is a former quarterback for us, and so they do a very good job of working together and finding the things that our kids can do well and finding where the holes in our opponents are. And so the balance that you speak of is a product of their hard work.
Yeah. Our opponents this weekend, Ottawa University of Arizona, they have the number 1 ranked rusher in the conference, and the number 4 ranked rusher in the conference. So we talk about our tandem of running backs. They have a tandem of their own. Do you have any light you want to shed on that?
Well, what I can tell you is that the quarterback is a sophomore, and he led the nation last year as a freshman, and the kid's unbelievable. As far as the running back's concerned, they in the first ball game against Texas Wesleyan, there's a few of those kids that did not play that game. I believe it was an eligibility issue, didn't get the paperwork done in time. I'm not entirely sure. So you may not be seeing everything that team is capable of doing. They were missing a receiver, they were missing an offensive lineman, they were missing, I believe, 2 defensive players, and one of the running backs did not play that first ball game. I'll tell you another thing about Ottawa that earlier I talked to you about the focus that I'm in. We've played Ottawa. This will be our 7th time to play Ottawa, and This is their second time to play in Plainview.
Yeah.
We've gone to Arizona 5 out of the 7 times, and I'm so glad to get them here, have them drive all the way here, and the last time that we played them here, I believe it was a 38-14 loss. It was the second best that we've ever played them. The best we've ever played them has been a 35-14 loss, 14 loss there. And our kids are right now very, very focused on accomplishing something that no other team has done, Wayland team that is. And so we're really, really, really focused on that right now.
So they're going to show us 2 of the top 5 running backs in the conference. We're going to show them 2 of the top 8 running backs in the conference. As far as passing goes, you mentioned the quarterback. He's number 1 in the conference. Our quarterback, Guajardo, is number 7 in the conference.
And if we'd have stopped Louisiana Christian's quarterback,
Yeah.
Davian would have been higher than that.
Oh, a lot higher. A lot
He
higher.
had a great game against us.
And I do want to go back for a second to Louisiana Christian because I got a couple of questions about that.
Okay.
As far as receiving goes, they have the number 1 receiver in the conference, Davicius Wills, number 1 in the conference in receiving. So they've got quarterback, 2 running backs, and a receiver, all in the top of the conference. We have 2 receivers in the top 10, Damon Ford out of the backfield, and Josiah Barron. So this is a formidable opponent that we're facing, but they're gettable.
Yes, sir.
They are gettable. On the defensive side is where we really shine. We have the 6th, 7th, and 8th ranked tacklers in the conference. They have the 9th ranked tackler in the conference.
Yeah.
So 3 of the top 8 are ours, and that's an accomplishment for one school to put that many defensive players in the top 10. Okay, let me go back to Louisiana Christian. A couple of questions about that. We played them even through the first half, 21-21 at the half. Then we came out and exploded for 28 unanswered points and had the game well in hand. The thing that I noticed for both teams on Saturday were chunk plays. Both teams had lots of big plays. And those big plays that we allowed Louisiana Christian, especially in the 4th quarter, made the game a lot closer than in the booth we were comfortable with.
Yeah, that's fair to say. So let me take you to the beginning of last week. Our focus was to start fast and to finish strong. We had not done that. We didn't do that against Sul Ross. It took us a while to get going, and so we knew if we started fast, we had a good chance at defeating a quality opponent, defending conference champion. And then in order to prevent it from being such a close game that it was overtime, we had to finish strong. And so funny how the focus ended up being exactly what happened. Louisiana Christian has a great staff, and they have quality athletes on their offense. And they made some adjustments that we had not seen on film. And all of this is going to sound like I'm making excuses, and I hate that part of it, but I need to explain to you. In the first series, our starting corner, transfer sophomore out of Gainesville, Georgia, was hampered by an injury in practice on Tuesday, and we stayed off of it until Saturday. He made the attempt to play and was unable to do so. Pulled him out after the first series. It turns out he tried to play with a fractured tibia.
Oh, my word.
So in came in his backup, which is a freshman, which we're not afraid of playing freshmen. Tyrone Morgan's a freshman, and he's getting better each week. And so anyways, it took him a while to get settled into playing the game. And going into this game on Thursday, our backup Mike linebacker, because our first string linebacker was injured in the Sol Ross game, had surgery in the bye week. So the backup middle linebacker has an AC separation on Thursday afternoon practice. So we're down to our third Mike linebacker, and not that he wasn't incapable. He came in and did well, but there was just not enough practice time for him to have established the same type of defensive production that we would have had it been a starter. Anyways, what I mean to tell you is that the gaps that you saw in Louisiana Christian's success on offense had to do with them being a quality opponent and us maneuvering through in the middle of the ball game with position changes and adjustments. Going to halftime, we make better adjustments. Come out, Louisiana Christian doesn't score in the third quarter at all. Another injury occurs. We have to put somebody else in there. They get a jump on us, make a big play, and make it a closer ball game than it was. At one point, we were ahead of the defending conference champion by 28 points. So all of that to simply say that our team for once was able to maneuver successfully through some adversity. And a lot of people don't know that just because we don't,
Sure.
you're not interiorly and see all those things. But I think it's important to praise our kids in that area.
Absolutely.
Maneuvering and overcoming adversity.
Yeah. And holding on for the win.
Yes, sir.
As important as anything.
Speaks of their desire.
Certainly does. Certainly does.
This game means a great deal to us. And if, in fact, we snuck up on Louisiana Christian, I don't believe that that's what happened. But if, in fact, we did, we're not going to sneak up on anybody else. And Ottawa is fully aware of that.
Well, I am, as I said, I'm really excited for this game. Excited to see us up against another quality opponent. And we showed out well against the last quality opponent that we faced, and expecting great things out of this football team. And as I said, I am cautiously optimistic about seeing perhaps a playoff game, maybe one even here at our home field at the end of the season. So without further ado, let's bring you the game. I'm Dan Ziegler, the voice of WBU Athletics. I'll be back with you in just a few minutes.